going well. Okay. I think we are live. So it's week 2. I'm here with Jarod again, and he has a big smile on his face. So let's hear what that's all about. How has your week been, and how did it all go? Tell us all about
I told you I would kill it the first week. That's what happened.
it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
how did you do it?
So yeah, it's been a week with no backsliding. All the goals that I set forth, I achieved. 7 days on carnivore. 7 days, no masturbation or anything like that. 7 days back in a nice gym routine. Um, and I've definitely noticed a lot of cravings. So
Yes.
yeah, it's been pretty awesome.
Hooray for the cravings.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about the cravings, like in general? What did you discover with, the triggers, the thoughts, what you were doing, how it felt like, all of that?
Yeah, for sure. So I had one really gnarly one the very first night. I was talking to my friend on the phone, and he made mention of the C4 energy drinks,
Okay.
and that just got me. It triggered me because it made me think of my boss. We used to go to gas stations a lot because he always drinks energy drinks and stuff. And so it just put me into that gas station, just buying like donuts and shit and candy and crap and, sandwiches made out of waffles, crazy stuff they make these days.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was just like my mind went racing, to the point where I was literally talking to him on the phone, got in my car, drove to this gas station, and then just sat in the parking lot and just sat there for a while. Like literally just sat there. Didn't end up buying anything, but yeah, my mind was telling me, just, we start tomorrow. It's fine. You did your first interview today, but you can start tomorrow. It's all good. Blah blah blah. And I've noticed that with my cravings, for me, a lot of the time it's just like I feel like kind of like it's not so much a fire, but it's like a heat in my belly. So it's just like this weird, just like hot feeling, and like seems like a pressure on me, all in my upper torso area. It just seems like pressure. That's what I've
Yeah.
noticed so far physiologically. Um, and then yesterday, this is not food related. This is more like with like sexual stuff. I get triggered a lot, and so this is also so for me. It's more than just not doing like masturbation and looking at porn, but it's pretty much like abstaining from like looking at any type of like stimulating material as well, because that's all part of that dopamine reward system I'm trying to heal.
Okay.
So, even like thumbnails on YouTube, just like if it's like a slightly attractive girl or whatever, that gets me going. That's a trigger. Um, Big trigger for me in that regard as well is like just before I'm getting into bed, because it's just I'm tired, and that's just like a habit that I used to have a lot. Just right before I fall asleep, that's something that I would do. And yesterday it was the gnarliest the cravings have been. It was just like constantly, and it's another thing that I've noticed is that it's like the cravings are just like this unwanted person that's in the room. It's like they just won't leave. And I was like, but I was like, I'm tasked to be okay with you being here and just to look at you. But I've noticed it's just like this entity that's just there and it just keeps poking at you. It's like, come on, bro. It's like it knows all my weaknesses. It knows all my little, ways that it's gotten one over on me. But I was just like, I think the whole putting on the scientist cap, which we're still trying to figure out what that looks like. Um, uh, Putting myself in that place where I'm just like the observer has really helped me to curtail actually going through with it, because I every time it's happened throughout the week with different things, it's just been like I just go, oh, and just like bringing light on it and looking at it and bringing attention to it in a different way instead of being like, oh fuck, I don't want to do this, but I kind of want to do it, and this all the cognitive dissonance and all that crap and the willpower, but just being more, like you said, curious about it has helped a lot. So there's a lot of word vomit, but yeah, that's pretty kind of how it's been going.
Okay. So that's really interesting because you seem to have a really good awareness around all of it. Would you describe it that way, that it's just like it's easy for you to notice all the thoughts, all the triggers, all of that, or is there any difficulty there? Because you mentioned a lot of things, so it feels like it comes easy to you, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think I have a good generalized understanding of the triggers and whatnot. Sometimes maybe not, but usually I can. It's usually a pretty noticeable stimulus that triggers me. Um, and yeah, and a lot of the times throughout this week, I kept trying to sit with the cravings longer and longer, but it seems like the more that right when I noticed it, it just stopped, which was weird. I was kind of hoping for it to be a little bit more intense, which I'm sure it's going to be, but except for those two periods, like I mentioned, like the one on the first day and on the second day, or the second to last day yesterday, most of it was just like it popped up, and I was like, okay, I'm aware of it, sitting here, and then it was just like, just the desire vanished. It was very, very strange, but yeah.
I have that, and I was super frustrated with it. Like as soon as I tried to sort of nail them down, they
Mm-hmm.
would just go away.
It's just yeah,
I was like,
gone.
how am I gonna learn how to sit with them when they just go away?
Exactly, exactly.
But for me, it never got worse in that sense. I mean, sometimes for various reasons, I might have a craving that doesn't go away, and that's a little bit strange. But I don't think you have to worry so much about that. Just like let it be whatever it is, and it's gonna be fine. I just noticed there was no one watching, and I was like, "What's going on?" And we were unlisted, so I have made it public now. So I've screwed it up. I'm
Oh,
gonna screw it up for
yeah. I was
next
looking in the
week.
comments. I'm like, no one's there. I was like, it's fine,
No,
whatever. You know,
yeah,
it's cool. Maybe they're
someone's
quiet.
watching now. No, it's my fault. I've sorted it. Hopefully, they will find a way. Sorry about that. Um, yeah. So I'm wondering, I would really like to look at, because you said it's like, hi Paprika, hi Dadya. So now people are trailing in. Sorry, it was me who forgot to make the video visible. It was unlisted, so you couldn't have found it. Um, you said that they are like unwanted people, and you've been tasked to just having them there.
Hmm.
So when you say that the cravings are like unwanted people,
Hmm.
what are you actually thinking about them? Like, just word vomit at me.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're just these little assholes that are, like symbolically, like I've just broken into my house. They're not like hurting me or anything, but they're just, like pissing on the carpet, doing all these things. And normally I would just like try to like, physically, remove them or beat them up or whatever. But now I'm just tasked to like look at them and sit there with them as they cause chaos around me and try to get me to do things I don't want to do. They're just throwing shit everywhere. It's a mess. But yeah, now I'm just like observing them, trying to learn their behavior. Like, why do you want me to do this? What's your purpose? Um, yeah, so they're unwanted because I don't want to do these things anymore. So I guess that's why I say that. But yeah, that's kind of my thought process there.
When you are thinking about this scenario where you're there, the cravings are there,
Mm.
what are you thinking about that scenario when that happens?
So this week it was more like lighthearted than normal than what I usually do with just the grit. Just like I'm not
Mhm.
doing that,
Yeah.
But this is more just like kind of approaching it with humor. It's like, aha, yeah, I can see why that. I can see why you want me to do that. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, okay, cool. Where are we gonna go from here? What's your next trick? And it was just more just like because it's things that I've fallen for so many times, but it's just so easy to fall for them.
Yeah.
It's just really just acknowledge. It's just a open-mindedness to them. Just every time they happen, like I was walking through the grocery store today and walked past where I would usually get my wings covered in all the shitty sauce and the seed oils. I felt real deep like pressure in my stomach and just kind of like a somewhat of a mini brain fog of just like desire and just like kind of a dopamine. I guess it's kind of a dopamine rush too, because I'm close to an old reward, so my brain's like,
Yeah.
ooh, let's get that. And so I felt that for a little bit. I'm just like, okay, it's not gonna happen, guys. But let's just see how this feels for a while. And just walking past all the cookies and the ice cream aisle and all that stuff, very familiar. So yeah, just like I said earlier, for those who weren't here, it just feels like a heat in my torso, and it's like a somewhat of a pressure, like my body's just getting smaller, just compressing. That's kind of how it feels. I don't feel like the throat stuff like you talk about, but that's just how it feels for me.
And how do you feel when you're just allowing them to be there? Like what's the feeling afterward?
Yeah, afterward, it's just for this first week at least, I just felt like I went back to normal. I didn't feel like a peace or like oh, I'm like Zen God or anything like
Hmm.
that. Like whatever. It just felt like it's like that little ping in my head. Like one of the little assholes that are in my house are just like poking me in the face, and I'm like, and then I just back to my day. Like I looked around and they weren't there anymore. I'm like, okay, well, that was annoying, but he's not there anymore, so fine, whatever. We'll wait till he comes back next time with his friends. So yeah, I felt afterwards just like nothing happened really, but
Was
I
the,
acknowledge that something did happen.
yeah. Did that happen every time, or did you have times where they were just like getting stronger and they came back again, or where you felt like, oh, for fuck's sake, I had enough of this, or did you always have the same sort of response?
Yeah, most of the week it was very short and poignant. Like just it just happened, and then I was quickly able to most of the time identify the triggers. Like I said, with like sexual stuff, it was like YouTube thumbnails. Like, okay, I understand why I'm having this urge. Here we go, let's feel it. Or if going to work a lot, because my every time I go to the gas station, walking in there, like, okay, I usually pick this up, right? I usually pick this up. This is the donut. This is that, and it's just like. Plus, it's harder because you're getting ready to go to work. It's not something you really want to do, so you do want that pick me up of whatever it is. So that makes it a little bit more difficult. But I just kind of sat there and felt that I was like, well, I'm gonna have a better night at work if I don't do this. It's just I'm getting closer to my goals if I don't do this, and so this feels kind of grummy. That's not really a
Yeah.
word. I just made it up, but it seems like a good description. And yeah, but last night though, when I was getting ready to go to sleep, that craving to look at like arousing material and stuff like that, and do the under the pants dance, with the hands thing. It was just like, come on, because like, come on, bro, you'll feel so good if you do this, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, I know, but so it was quite. They weren't just poking me; they were like punching me in the face, and just kept feeling it. But it kept. Went to the gym, and of course, when I go to the gym yesterday, there was like a million attractive girls there. So I was like, "Fuck!" Of course, can't just. It's everywhere. And but I just went through it. Went in the so yeah. For those of you who don't know that, I've adopted the sauna as like my dojo to practice feeling cravings. Because man, when you're in the sauna, like everything's like even worse. So I try to like practice because like I try to just sit there as still as possible. So every single time a sweat drop comes down, you feel everything, and I'm trying to just let myself. And you want to scratch everything. You want to scratch a million itches. So I'm trying to like use these itches that I'm feeling and all these different things that the desire to move. I'm trying to just train myself to sit there and feel these uncomfortable things because they are uncomfortable as fuck. I'll tell you what. But yeah, so that's been a fun little tool to try. But yeah.
Okay. To me, it sounds like, I mean, you don't have to feel amazing or at peace or whatever, but when they do disappear,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like you've successfully sat with a craving.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
So as long as the majority of the cravings are there, I think you're doing it completely right. So is there anything around the cravings or, the urges that you felt like I probably need a little bit more help with this, or are you completely okay with everything? You know how to handle it, or do you have any questions about that?
No, like I said, I don't think that the viewers heard this earlier, but like I said, a lot of the time it was just they just came and went. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that some other things may come up whenever they're a little bit more demanding or just gnawing at me. But I did experience a few of those this week, and you know seemed to go all right.
Yeah.
I think I just needed just more repetitions. Honestly, I just need to experience it
Mm.
more
Yeah.
for that
We have many
mastery.
weeks to do that.
Yes.
Right. So how often do you remind yourself about your big why?
That's something I did maybe twice this week. So yeah, I probably could have done a little bit better on that. But like I
Mhm.
said, I feel like that will probably come in more when the cravings become more intense. That's when I'll probably, but just consciously, I should have just done it because yeah, it's kind of slipped my mind.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
what it does.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm focusing on the cravings now.
Mm-hmm.
So for this week, I mean, I want you to continue to focus on the cravings, but
Mm.
also every time, if you can remember it, just bring your awareness to like, this is why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I want to so I've been slowly implementing my morning routine I used to have a long time ago, which is
mhm.
like at least 10 minutes of just reading something, like trying to slowly carve my way through a book. And then it's just a lot of blocks of 10 minutes of doing things, 10 minutes of writing, 10 minutes of meditating, and then 10 minutes of somewhat of a, I usually just do as many burpees as I can, just and try to add one each day just to kind of build my wind back up. So I think with the when I start doing the writing again or typing, whatever, if I'm feeling lazy, then I'll probably just try to briefly just get that repetition of the why in there. Like I'm doing this so I can
Yeah.
truly discover myself. So every time I put that down, it'll just be another ingraining on my brain. Hopefully, I think that would be a good way to do that.
Yeah. So can you tell me exactly what those thoughts would be? Like, why do you want to do it? Can you tell me now and hit all the points that you mentioned last week?
Why I want to do all this crazy
Mhm.
stuff that no one most likely wants to do because
Exactly.
um yeah, because I feel like all this shit that I'm trying to get over is just they're like little traps that I fell into that have kind of just painted my life and painted who I've become slash am slash think that I am to a degree. And I think under all these layers of bullshit is the true me. I think there's aspects of me that are genuine and authentic most of the time, some of the time, but I think there's definitely a lot more to be uncovered of myself. And I think I'm not going to find out who that is until I actually heal this behavior slash mindset and all this stuff attached to it. Like really getting to the bottom of, the emotions and everything that I've been running away from for so long. So the big why is literally just to get to know myself. And because I want to know myself, because then I feel like I can genuinely express myself to my highest degree and, be able to help others do that sort of thing as well. And then I can, really start tackling my big goals and dreams that I want to achieve in life. So that's kind of, yeah, it in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. It was a
Yeah.
big nut.
Yeah, it's a
Okay, but I'll leave it at that. I mean that's completely fine with me because you covered all the bases that we were talking about last week. But sometimes when you don't, you said I thought about it twice, and I thought maybe he's forgotten. So
yeah,
it's just like a good
it's
reminder
there.
of like,
It's
yeah,
just yeah.
all of it that you're still connected to that because it's so
Hmm.
easy to just do something and then you forget half of it and what what was it? But it's just like my true self we talked about that a little bit as well, and I'm going to go into that again because we want to start living into that person, but
Mm.
like really feeling who that is, and then like the reason for why you want to do it. And when you connect them, it's going to be it's it's a really powerful experience that you don't necessarily will notice in the beginning, but when it clicks, and you're like, oh, okay, that's what it is, and it just kind of comes from the inside, which is pretty cool. So I'm just gonna read back what I wrote last time. Like, you want to be the dude that's roaming the planet and sprinkling wisdom around, and just
Yes,
blow people's mind. Um,
the
uh,
vagabond sage.
exactly, and then all of that stuff, like you gotten over all your roadblocks. You have a nice physique. You're in control of things, and you have the ability to be in control of pretty much anything.
Within my realm of controllability, I guess you could
Yes,
say.
of course.
I can't make the sun move an extra couple degrees or anything like that. But yeah,
No, that would be cool. And if
yeah.
you
I
can
mean,
teach me,
maybe catastrophic too. Like the whole world just freezes, or I don't know.
yeah. So if you're thinking about like future Jared in 6 months,
Hmm.
where do you want to be then? Like how do you want to feel? How do you want to think about things? How do you want to sort of show up in the world?
Mm, significantly more confident.
Hmm.
Um, a lot more satisfied. Like a satisfaction I probably haven't felt. And maybe I've felt it like 3 times in my life, which is that satisfaction that comes from doing a deep work that took some time. It wasn't something that you could just nail down in a day.
Yeah.
That delayed gratification pathway in my brain, I want that to feel stimulated because I feel like that's going to feel a lot more rewarding than the little bullshit that I usually do. That's just very, snap right there, instant gratification. I want to feel different. This is how I'm reading this book, basically saying that like 5% of your life is through conscious, like the conscious mind. 95% of what you do is through subconscious, just routines and programs. So I just want to get in there and rip the shit out of all those wires and just completely rewire everything. I just want to feel like a different person, which I feel like is possible. With the 6 months is nothing to smirk at. That's a decent period of time.
Mm.
And with
So what is the feeling that you want to have in 6 months? The one that you're after?
I feel like the word authenticity just comes straight to my head. I just, as I mentioned before, that I've just basically emulated what's around me and my surroundings, where as far as like social aspects go, and I feel like I've been kind of like living this double life for the past 5 or 6 years, ever since I kind of like, maybe it was like 4 years, since I really kind of got on this discipline kick of wanting to really change the habits and everything. Like I've been having conversations with people and explaining the importance of doing these certain things, but at the same time I'm never really doing it. It's just like talking about it but not really fully being about it. I just want to be like in that state of alignment. And if you think my hand looks weird, it's because like for some reason, like I was born and my pinky is like fucked up. Like I came out of the womb and it's just got this. It doesn't straighten out.
I haven't
So
even seen that until now.
yeah, it's
That's
interesting.
funny.
I'm left-handed, and that's where it is. And so my
Oh,
right hand, you can see how it just did that.
yeah.
It wants to be like the dominant hand. It's like, no, dude, you actually
I can't
got it.
even do it.
Yeah, you're actually better. You don't want to be like that guy. He's weird. So yeah, it just does that. It's strange, but yeah. Um, so that was
Left-handedness rock though.
you're left-handed.
I'm not biased. Yeah. I
Nice.
write with my left, but I do everything else like a right-handed person. So I'm kind of a
Really
hybrid, I guess. Yeah.
interesting. Hmm. I heard polar bears were left-handed too. I guess that would be left-pawed. I don't know if that's real or not, but
No idea. Okay, so basically authenticity for you is like walking the walk,
yeah,
not just talking the talk.
being about like what I envision my higher self being, but actually like being that in 3D reality, not just in my imaginary world.
Mm, okay. Anything else?
Okay,
Future Jared, 6 months.
what was the question? Oh, I got Jared in 6 months. Yeah. So a a noticeable change in my physique, which I think is totally possible. Like this week, I literally ate the majority of my diet this week was raw ribeye steaks and
Okay.
butter and eggs. Um, so I think, just eating that way and just, I think I hit the gym like 6 out of 7 days. I got a pretty
Wow.
nice routine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've implemented a cardio routine too. So we just have like a circuit around our neighborhood, and it's got two gnarly hills, and I just do one lap, and I think it totals out to be about a mile. So I just nail that every morning. So I've got, like I mentioned to you, I don't know if I mentioned the audience, I've got this very deceiving skinny gut. I can walk around and it looks like I'm just a normal person, but if you let it fly out, it's there. Like it's full force. Like it's a nasty little sugar
You're like,
addiction gut. Yeah, exactly. I walk around all day just like, puffed in, but but I know it's there, and I don't like it. So I pretty much want that to go from there to like up here. Like I said, I'm not trying to be like Arnold or anything like that, but yeah. So a noticeable change in my physique. What else? Just I feel like I will be a lot more motivated at that point. Just a lot more goal oriented. If I really do accomplish these things that I'm setting out to do for these next 6 months, well, I feel like I'll be more driven. Um, what else? I feel like I'll just feel inspired as well. Just seeing myself being able to have accomplished these things. It's. I feel like I'll have all kinds of new ideas and new things I'll try. I'll want to be tackling at that point. So more inspired, probably creative as well. I think those probably go together hand in hand. But yeah, stuff like that, I suppose.
okay.
Probably happy, a
So,
lot happier.
well, I'm going to share something with you.
Okay.
We think we're going to be more happy when we reach a goal. We just get
Mm-hmm.
new problems.
True.
So we're still not going to be happy 100% of the time, or
Sure.
90, probably not 80. But at least we get new problems and it's more interesting because our life is still moving forward. So I think it's still worth it. But when we expect that everything is good and we're just going to feel happy when we get there, we're going to
Right.
be severely disappointed. I don't want you to be severely disappointed because that's not fun. And then
I
we
think
just,
I'll feel
oh,
happy
why did I
because
do all this?
I feel like I'll be more equipped to handle those new problems at
Mm,
that point. So that's something I
yeah,
think I'll feel.
absolutely. But from everything that you told me, I think if you focused on one thing, which is your authenticity, I think all of the others would come pretty much. The physique is more of a like, if you were authentic to yourself, like then you would go to the gym and do the things. So that would kind of come as a byproduct. But
Right.
like if you were more authentic, you would feel more confident probably once you tried it out. You would
Right.
probably feel more satisfaction because all of a sudden you obviously authentic to yourself and that's who you want to be and that's going to feel more satisfying. Um, when you do that, you'll probably feel more driven, inspired, and have more ideas and be more creative as a result of that. So I think the thing that you probably want to focus on is to be more authentic because that's going to bring all of the other things that you mentioned. And we don't have to put so much work into them. They're just, you're going to get them for free. It's like a free bonus.
Right. It's like the opposite of like all the drug commercials, like authenticity, authenticity.
Yeah,
Side effects may include confidence,
exactly.
inspiration, blah blah
Isn't
blah.
it great? Yeah.
Yeah. So
So if you could be more authentic this coming week, what would you do?
I think just keep doing what I'm doing. Um, try to listen to my gut more. Sometimes I'll be just walking out in random social situations, just even in the grocery store or something, and I'll have a gut feeling to just say something to somebody. Sometimes it's like fuck off, so I probably shouldn't listen to those, but maybe, I don't know. But um, just maybe listen to that gut a little bit more, and but really probably just keep doing what I'm doing. Um,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a really good thing. So when you have that gut feeling and you just want to say something to someone, why don't you?
Hmm. Fear,
Fear of?
rejection, or just let's see, just I guess the fear of putting yourself out there. Maybe they'll think something of me that's not great, or maybe it'll come out wrong. Maybe I won't perform in the correct way that I think that I should. Stuff like that, just like social anxiety bullshit stuff that usually happens.
Okay, so do you have an example of when this has happened and you didn't say something?
Do I have an example?
Hmm.
Yeah, today an old man, probably like pushing flowers soon maybe, but he had a really nice sweater on. Well, I thought it was cool. It's like had like a map on it and just like cool beach stuff like boats, and I just wanted to be like, hey man, that's a badass sweater, whatever, say it in some way. And I just didn't say it. I don't know why. I guess I really don't know why I didn't say it. I usually do say stuff like that, but today I just didn't. I'm not really sure why.
Okay. So when you saw it and you're like, damn it, he has a really nice sweater.
Mm.
You're like, you feel the urge to say it.
Hmm.
Can you think back to that moment? Like, what were you thinking in that moment that stopped you from saying it?
Mm, I think it was something probably along the lines of just don't stir anything up right now. Just be normal. Maybe that's what it was.
Just be normal.
I guess that's what it was, and that's just like just conform to society and just be like just do what you got to do and get the hell out of here. Don't be a wrinkle in what's normally happening. Something like that, maybe.
Hmm.
I think that's what happened.
And when you think that, like, what emotions are coming up inside of you then? Is that fear?
It might be. I think it's a little bit of that and a little bit of doubt. Like maybe
Okay.
it's a little bit of maybe I'm not worthy to say this type thing. Like I don't need to say this, and it's not going to contribute to anything, or it's probably a mixture of those things.
And then you don't say anything, and then you're regretting not saying anything.
A little bit. He should have known. He should have known that it's a nice sweater. He probably knows, but he needs
Yeah.
reminded.
Yeah, you were like, oh, but this is not going to do any good. But like telling someone that they have a nice sweater, I bet you he would have a smile on his face.
Probably. I usually do when somebody says something about my wardrobe. Rarely when it happens.
Hmm. Yeah. But it's like, maybe you would have made his day by just telling him what a cool sweater he had.
Right. He may have just he honestly could have been on his way to go sit in a garage full of carbon monoxide from his car, and I could have maybe steered that away. You never know.
Maybe.
You never know where someone's at in their life. It's crazy, actually.
So you said, like, just be normal.
Hmm.
How is this normal to actually tell him that you have a really nice sweater?
How is that normal?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Because right now you think it's not normal to go and tell him that.
hmm
But how could it be normal?
it is normal. I mean, when you think about it that way, it is normal to just tell someone that they have a nice piece of clothing on if they have a nice piece of clothing on. I guess it could be normal to tell someone they look like shit too, if they look like they just rolled off the wrong side of the whatever. But yeah, I mean, it is perfectly normal when you phrase it that way to just compliment somebody with something that you think is
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
So what's the worst thing that could have happened if you had actually said that to him?
he could have just been like, "I hate this fucking sweater, and I don't like you for telling me about it." Like, I don't know, that could probably be it. Or he could have slapped me in the face for just like even looking at him, and I don't know. Could have been a lot of stuff, but really probably nothing that bad. I'm definitely exaggerating, like hyperbole, but
Yeah.
yeah, nothing. The worst thing he could have said is like, or probably the worst thing that could have happened in a realistic, really what could have happened if it would be just to him look at me and then just turn around and get back like nothing happened. That would probably make me feel a little bit dejected, but that would probably be the worst of it, and I would get over that.
How long would it take you to get over that?
Like 3 days. No, I'm just kidding. Like not that. Maybe like honestly, because sometimes I obsess over things. Maybe like 15 minutes or something. I would just feel like, man, what the hell?
Okay.
Come on, bro. And I would
But
just kind of like, did I say it wrong or this and that? Like second guess myself, maybe, but maybe something like that.
yeah.
Tops.
Okay. So say that that happened. You're like, hey man, you got a really nice sweater. And he's like,
It just turns around. Yeah.
and what happens then? You're like, oh my God, did I say it wrong? What did I do? Maybe that was the worst idea that could ever have had. Why did I do that? I'm not normal. And all of those thoughts. Like,
Yeah, and also maybe like this guy's a fucking asshole. I'd probably think that too.
yeah,
But yeah,
probably.
that's if all those things happen, that I think that's when those thoughts come rushing in. The point of this whole stuff that we're doing, I want to get to the point where those I feel like are. I read a book about stoicism recently. Those are like knee-jerk reactions in your brain. Like you're getting that test, you just
Yeah.
knee-jerk, blah
But
blah
you're
blah.
thinking then because you think that he somehow rejects you.
Yeah,
What else could have been
which
going on?
I mean, yeah, he could have just been having a bad day. Maybe he
Maybe he's
genuinely
deaf.
appreciated. He could be deaf. He could be deaf. Yes, it could absolutely be someone that speaks not a lick of English,
Yeah.
and just could be a
Maybe he thought
million
you said
things.
something,
That's the
but
thing.
you didn't look like it.
We typically think that the entire universe is constantly thinking about us, when
Mhm.
most of the time, well, if everyone thinks that, which I feel like most people do, then no one's hardly ever thinking about you. That's the way you got to think about it, which is funny enough. It's kind of ironic, but that's a hard paradigm to break from.
Yeah, and maybe he was just so deep in his own thoughts, and you said something. He was like, "What did that dude say?" Kept
It just
walking. Took him
yeah, it
like
just gets on.
5 seconds, and then oh shit. Oh well, whatever.
And then he feels awkward in himself, like, oh, well,
Yeah,
that's gonna be weird for me to say thanks now. It just happened like 10 seconds ago. Like I should have
of
said it
course.
then. And he's going through all his mental gymnastic bullshit that he's not recovered from either. So who knows?
Yeah, and that's happened to me. Someone said something, and I'm like, "Did they talk to me?" And I just have this discussion in my head, and I'm like, "Oh shit, now
Yeah,
it's too late. I'll just pretend as if I didn't hear it."
right. It's funny what we do.
So many things that could go on,
Yeah,
and you're just like making up this whole story, and it takes you 15 minutes to get over it.
yeah. Waste of time, energy.
Yeah. So if you tell someone like you have a really nice sweater and they just look funny at you and walk away, what could you be thinking instead? That's not gonna require you to take 15 minutes to get over it.
If he did what I said he was gonna, if he
Mm.
did what I said he
So,
did,
like sort of the worst case scenario. He just looks at you like, "Mm."
oh, and I just like, well, I put it out there. That's it. What else? What's next in life? And just move on. That's it. Like just like the cravings, just you notice it like a cloud, and after it's gone by, it's gone. That's it. What's next? Just move on.
Mm.
Don't attach to it. In other words, it's unnecessary.
Yeah. Oh, you can think something like, you know, what was your words? Like you want to be a catalyst to help others. You're like, I want to
Hmm.
be a catalyst to make others feel good.
Hmm.
But it's like I can only lead the horse to water.
Right.
Can't make them drink. You're like, I'm just gonna go and spread positivity or whatever. I'm gonna go and tell people when I like their clothes. It's up to them to do something with it. But just
Exactly.
doing that might actually feel good to you.
It usually does. It does feel good when because I know that usually makes them feel good. So it makes me feel good. It's like that reciprocity. So
Yeah, but what about you don't get that? You just go and tell people nice things anyway.
yeah, because then if you're always expecting something in return, then it's like, why are you doing this? If you Are you truly doing this to try to help them, or are you just trying to do this to make your bullshit ego feel better? So
Yeah, you're like, oh, they liked it. Now I can get some more dopamine. It's
Right.
brilliant.
Yes. Yes.
What about, oh, that felt good because I spoke my truth and it was kind to other people.
Yeah. Whether he liked it or not, I know that I put it out
Yeah.
there. I know that it's a badass sweater, and somebody else probably heard it and thought, "Yeah, it is a badass sweater." Blah blah. Blah. I
Hmm.
don't know.
Yeah,
Or maybe it inspired somebody else to be like, maybe I should do something like that. Maybe I should be nice to somebody.
exactly.
So you never know where things carry to.
Yeah, so one of the things that you told me was like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to stop doing this, and I want to do what you're doing. I want to help people. It's like, yeah. If I hadn't been here, if you had, would you have gone and looked for a coach that could help you if I hadn't been on YouTube and all over the place doing these things?
Yeah, maybe, but at the same time, I just kind of, I probably would have just tried to do it again by myself.
Yeah,
It was just kind of like the timing of the thing popping up. Oh, we're gonna do a 6 week boot camp on carb addiction. I'm like, well, fuck, sounds great.
exactly.
So
And
there
you
it
just
was.
popping up saying you got a really fucking awesome sweater. It might change someone's life.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
And
We'll
not necessarily in the way that you know. Might change it in a different way. As you said, maybe he was going to go into his garage and put the car engine on and buy world.
Yeah, and
Or
that's
maybe
and
it's like, I should be a bit kinder to people.
I feel like sometimes I try to almost every single person that I make eye contact with, I try to just do the smile and the head nod. Just like the sort of thing. Not like a psycho like that just looked like, but you know, it's more subtle. But I'm a
Yeah.
little delirious right now. I'm tired, but um, yeah, because even that small transfer of energy that you intentionally put forth to them, because I feel like that's something I'm giving to them, and when they don't do it back, I usually just think like, man, this guy's like, yeah, he's I think usually like I don't know. It's usually like, man, this guy's an asshole, or he's going through something right now, or they're zombies at this point. Like he's an NPC. Like he's just it's not in his code to do this, or I don't know. Like he's not really awake. But
And that
I
is a
tried.
very useful thought to have. People are just people. They are
Yeah,
who they are.
yeah. He could just not be the type of guy that wants to do that sort of thing. Like he's just whatever. You looked at me. I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah.
But
I've smiled at many people that just look angry and they're not
yeah,
smiling back.
sometimes they
And
look
then I'm like, what?
confused. They're like, what is that? What did you do? Like they've never seen a smile in their life. Like they have no idea what
Yeah.
that is. Like maybe they don't. I don't know. I don't know what the hell these people do with their spare time behind closed doors. It's scary to think about sometimes, but
Yeah. And
um,
my gut reaction in those moments is also like you get that little twinge in your belly, like panic. They didn't smile back. And then it's
yes,
kind of over right after. So I
yeah,
don't have to walk around with that. But like that is a reaction because we want to be acknowledged and we want to be like included. And when people don't look like they're going to include us for whatever reason, they don't respond or they just look angry or whatever it might be. That is like in your DNA to be scared of that.
hmm.
That's completely normal. But your reason is so much more important and so much bigger than that. Like you want to override those um, automatic responses that you have with you from birth
Hmm.
for that reason. Because the only way that you can grow and be something bigger than that is by doing things that are bigger than that. Like, I want to share my success, I want to share the joy.
Yeah, and you've got to push past those uncomfortable things to actually get to those next levels. It's not about the things I'm trying to achieve are definitely going to take types of sacrifice and overcoming these fears and mental gymnastics. So it's I think when you really start to try to visualize where you want to be and helping people, then it's going to probably make it easier as time goes on to follow those gut reactions, because it's like you said, it's being authentic. And I
Yeah,
feel like those those thoughts that come up, like not the bullshit random thoughts, like you just randomly think about it, like a monkey driving a school bus, like that's absolutely useless. It's just random thought chatter that just, who knows why it's there. But thoughts that that align with who you think that you want to be on a high level, like down the road. Like I feel like those are
Yeah.
glimpses of your subconscious and the true you trying to speak out to you. And you can detect those, like, because I think truth is truth, and truth is very easily recognizable if you're looking for it, trying to tune into it. So, especially if it's, pertains to you and your higher you. So I think when you feel that somewhat that pause of like, okay, well, I shouldn't, or like the fear, blah blah blah. But I think the more you do it, it's like the muscle, and then you attach your why to it. Then you just have to go for it.
Yeah, and you can feel the fear the same way that you feel your cravings. Like, what does it feel like in your body? I know what the fear feels like in my body, and it's probably fairly similar, but probably different as well for you. I
Yeah.
just allow it to be there. It's normal to feel fear, and I'm gonna feel fear, and it's not a problem. And then I'm gonna do it because doing it is what is gonna make me my future self, the one that I envisioned at 6 months from now.
Yep, because you have to try to be that emulation that you have of yourself right here in the right now, because otherwise it's never going to manifest unless you actually start putting in the work and being that person.
Yeah, I think it's Dr. Benjamin Hardy that says be, do, have. So first you need to be the person, and then you need to do the things, and then you will have it in that order.
Say that again.
Be, do, have. So first be the person, like
Mm-hmm.
the person that do give compliments. And then you're going to do the thing, as in actually giving the compliment, not just do it up here.
Right.
And then you will have it, as in you will be that person.
It makes sense. The
And you
book
want
that
to
I'm
be
reading
it
that has,
from, sorry,
go ahead.
go on.
Go ahead. So the book that I'm reading right now that has to do with all that stuff, it's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Okay.
So it's all about just somewhat, like we were talking about earlier, just reprogramming all these old pathways and this and that, and trying to become more conscious. And definitely it's just about envisioning who you want to be, and then slowly just making that, you have to actively think about being that person as much as possible, because you have to erase all this old stuff that you used to do and just build upon and become the new thing that you want to be.
Yeah. Benjamin Hardy that I just mentioned, he's also written a book that you might be interested in called Personality Isn't Permanent, which is kind of an interesting book. But anyhow, what I wanted to add to this is like be, do, have is fine, but it's like what's in the way is usually your thoughts. So we don't want to forget about them. Right now, it's like I want to be normal, and he's might be angry at me, or he might judge me. Someone might think badly about me or
Right.
reject me. All of those thoughts. But instead, it's like I don't give a shit about him. I just want to, put the nice stuff out there, and if he wants to receive it, excellent. But I have been true to myself. Like I've been the person that I want to be.
Right. And I think the other thing that I was saying when I said be normal is the like thinking about just just staying quiet, keeping your head down, just falling in line, and just being like just not stirring things up, but to change and to really be the change that you want to be, you're going to maybe offend some people along the way. You're going to stir some stuff up along the way, just because, I don't know. I just feel like we're all unique, 100% individuals, and that's, our uniqueness is going to, if we're trying to be unique, well, if we're trying to be ourselves, we're going to cause ripples, because there's only
Yeah.
one of us. And I think we all have similarities, but I think everyone has something genuinely unique to bring to the table. But I think so many people are just conformists and just be like the everyday glob of people that those ripples don't happen a lot, and it's just this wave of just conformity that's, shit.
Yeah. And you're like, I'm sick of that. I don't want to be this chameleon anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what I would like you to do this week, as well as your homework, which was the habit loop, or the triggers, thoughts, and how it feels, and bring that to whatever you need to bring it to, not just to the cravings. And then obviously bring awareness to your big why every time you have a craving. But I would also like you to do exactly what we were talking about now. Like when you want to say something to someone, do it.
Mm.
And then just notice what comes up, like what's that fear about? What was I thinking that created that fear? And just go back and like try to figure it out, because when you're not, I mean, you have pretty good awareness, but if you can catch it in a moment, you will have even better awareness
All right.
of why this is happening. And then we can have a better look at it next week if there's anything that kind of stands out, something that we need to dig into, which is fine. We have time to do that.
That sounds good. So trying to basically follow gut reactions more actively
Yeah.
this week. Yeah.
And also like be kind. Don't tell people they look like shit when they look like shit,
No,
because
I
they
don't think that.
yeah.
I don't think
Just
that. I
wanted
don't
to
think
make
no,
that
no.
clear.
I come back
I
next
didn't
week.
think you were.
I have a big black
Yeah.
eye. It's like, well, let's talk about this first. I did the gut reaction thing. Here I
Yeah.
am. Got my
Yeah.
ass fucking beat.
But that is not in line with you helping people.
No, that's
Like,
definitely going in the. It's like, yeah, it's the. If I wanted to just later on just be an asshole that doesn't give a fuck later on in life, but that's not what I want to do. So
no. And why people look like shit might have many, many reasons, and most of them are probably not good for them.
right.
There's always something going on there,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. And it's not your job to try and fix that. So we can
No.
just leave them.
Yep. Just let them
Unless they talk
figure it
to you,
out.
then like, fine.
Yeah. Maybe I can offer something to you, but yeah.
Awesome. How often do you think that you would have this opportunity to just tell people stuff that you want to say? Like, how often does it come up for you?
I feel like it happens to me in the gym once or
Mm.
twice. Once or twice ago. I don't really go out a lot. I typically, like, my social life is once a week at chess club. It's amazing, right? I'm quite the socialite, but go to maybe the grocery store. But I do go to the gym almost every day, so I feel like that's a time when I probably have things come up that I want to say. But that's a lot of times too. I'm like, oh, they have their headphones in, they probably won't hear me. It's another one of those things that come up, but a lot of the times people will be like, huh? And then you just say it, but
Yeah.
because people aren't that brain dead yet. But it's probably the gym, maybe sometime at chess club or the grocery store, or hang out with my boss a lot because sometimes I get a little intimidated by him. Not that much, but sometimes, and I start acting like him, like I typically have. So maybe I could probably exercise that with him too.
Hmm.
So
Or we could just start thinking about like, what would my authentic self be like around my boss?
hmm yeah,
Do you
start
even know?
entertaining that. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have to think about that more. I definitely talk about like the carnivore stuff and this and that. So I do feel like I'm authentic in that I definitely flaunt my lifestyle. Not like in a weird way, but I'm definitely confident about it. And like talk about why I think it's important. And he just thinks I'm a freak because I eat raw meat, and he thinks I'm gonna die of botulism or something. So there's that. But yeah, I think he just thinks I'm a nut, and I'm okay with that. It's fine. But he doesn't think it in a
Yeah.
mean way. He just knows that I'm goofy. He's like, man, you're cut from a different breed, man. Blah blah blah. He says stuff like that. But he's definitely kind about it. It's playful. It's not like he doesn't say it in a derogatory fashion. So
Yeah.
I do feel like I'm actually pretty authentic with him for the most part.
Okay.
There's probably snippets where I'm not, but yeah.
Yeah. So you might just want to start notice when you're not. And it
Yeah.
might be a lot less than you think.
Or more. I don't know.
or
I
more.
think. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But you were saying before, like, I'm just a chameleon. I'm just doing what people expect me to do, and so on. But maybe that's not entirely true, because you're
Yeah. I
like,
could
well,
have
I'm
built that
not all
up.
the time. Yeah.
Mm,
So maybe
yeah.
maybe it happens, but maybe not as much as you think it does.
Right.
But I'm the same. Every time I feel like it's like every time I do anything that I feel like I did because of a peer pressure or because of it would please someone else, I just get this, oh, that doesn't feel good to me.
Mm,
And then I just need to start thinking about, okay, why doesn't it feel good to me? And sometimes I come to the conclusion that I did actually want to do it because I wanted to do this person a favor or whatever. But initially, it's just like, oh, this is not what I want to do. But when I think about it, it might actually be something that I do want to do, but for a completely different reason. And it's not just to comply, it's because I like this person and I want to do whatever they want me to help them with or whatever. And
right.
then I can calm down about it. Because that's the worst thing when you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. And then you just like stuck in those thoughts that I don't want to do it. But that might not be true. So just question yourself when you think that as well.
Right.
So you might realize that with this person, I do want to do it.
Yeah. In those moments, it's a little bit tougher to do that just because I feel like a lot of time you kind of become a little bit fight or flighty. So I
Yeah.
think I just need to try to slow down, and because at the end of the day, nothing crazy bad is happening to me. No one's threatening my life in this situation. So I
Yeah.
just need to. I'm just building things up in my brain
But you
to
can
work.
take that scenario with you and then you just like take 5 minutes to write in your journal or something. Like, okay, this is what was happening. This is what I thought. This is how I reacted.
Yeah.
And like
Hmm.
all your thoughts around it, like why did I do this? Why did I think that way? Why wouldn't I want to do it? Like, what's wrong? Is there anything wrong, or did I actually do the right thing and I just have like an overreaction to it, or whatever comes up? It's probably going to reveal a lot of stuff going on going on up in your head.
Yeah. I think so. It does sound a bit like a challenge, so I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, I think it's a good plan.
Awesome. So do you know all your homework? 3 things.
Yep. So keep doing the cravings. Just do that as normal, and then try to be more cognizant, and keep the why in the forefront more, so it becomes more of a normal thing. Don't do as many finger moments. And then the third one was the third one was try to do some gut reaction stuff and try to just be more authentic.
Yeah. Are you feeling
Sounds like
okay
a
about
plan.
that? Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah, a little bit of apprehension pops up right away,
Mm.
but yeah, it's
We got
it's
three
just that
minutes. What's the apprehension about?
it's yeah, just the once again, just like maybe the rejection stuff like that, the stuff that may happen afterwards. Which, when you think about it, it's not going to be that crazy. If I'm trying to be a nice person, if I was trying to be authentically an asshole, then yeah, a lot of bad things can happen. But yeah, just that initial knee jerk thing that we talked about
Yeah.
popping up.
So when it comes to rejection, how can anyone reject you?
Maybe not responding the way that I thought was going to happen, so therefore they didn't take what I gave them in the right way. Which at the end of the day, I can't control that. So that's just me being silly. So the whole rejection thing is not that. I mean, I guess a rejection just be like if they just say, "Man, leave me alone. You're being an asshole."
Okay. Is that a problem?
It's not. It really isn't, because it doesn't matter what they do with what I give them. It really doesn't. I mean, it matters to them, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter to me because I'm still going to do my thing.
Yeah.
So
So rejection always comes from your thoughts.
yes, I'm the one that makes the rejection. Yeah, that's true. They're just being themselves, and I'm taking what they're giving me and I'm building a story around it. That's essentially what's happening.
Yep. Every single time.
I'm throwing
Doesn't
my
mean that you're not going to feel it, but
yeah,
we don't have to make it a problem.
right.
Like, oh, here's my brain again doing crazy shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? Let's just redirect it. I did whatever I could to be kind to that person. And there's
That's
nothing
it.
more to discuss. Okay, I'll be very interested to see what you come up with and what you're going to
Me
tell
too.
people next week. So, write it down so that we don't forget about it.
I'm sure it'll be ingrained on my brain, but yeah, I'll try to.
All of them.
Those are going to be anomalous situations, so they'll probably stick out like a sore thumb.
But in a few weeks, maybe this is just who we are. Just a guy that tells people stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't care.
Because that's who you want to be. Like, this is part of the future me in 6 months. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start practice it. And in 6 months, I'm going to be that person. And I'm not even going to think twice about it. Like, I'm not going to be scared of rejection or anything. Are we good?
Yeah, for some reason you're not in my headphones anymore, but it's 6 anyway. So yeah, you're just talking on my laptop now. It's weird. I think these headphones just broke, but whatever. They were like $1, so it's cheap as hell. So
you have a week to sort it out because we're kind of done anyway. So thank you everyone for watching. We shall be back next week.
Take care, everybody.